Ladies and gentlemen, we will call this meeting to order. In the spirit of truth and reconciliation, we acknowledge the town of Edson is located on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional and ancestral lands of the Niqawak, Saulteaux, Siksika, Piikani, Kainai, Dene, Nakota Sioux, and the Apitsimisewac nations. We honor the knowledge of this land, the elders and youth which gather here, and our ancestors who have gathered here for centuries. Can I get a motion that the agenda for the May 7th, 2024 regular meeting of council be adopted as presented? Go ahead, Councillor Chenard.
I'll make the motion to adopt the agenda.
Thank you, Councillor Chenard. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? That motion is carried unanimously. Can I get a motion, please, that the minutes of the April 16th, 2024 special meeting of council be adopted as presented? Go ahead, Councillor Moore.
I so move.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? That motion is carried. Can I get a motion that the minutes of the April 16th, 2024 regular meeting of council be adopted as presented? Go ahead, Councillor Chachka.
I'll adopt the minutes.
Thank you, Councillor Chachka. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion, please, that council give first reading to bylaw number 2299? Go ahead, Councillor Bevan.
I'll make the motion that council give first reading to bylaw number 2299.
Thank you very much, and we will hand things over to Mr. Travish, our Chief Financial Officer.
Before you, mill rate bylaw number 2299. This mill rate bylaw is one of the last pieces of legislation that we need to put in place to collect the tax revenues and requisitions for the 2024 operating budget. I'd like to walk you through this mill rate bylaw in a hopefully easy to follow and easy to understand series of slides. So first, I'd like to walk us through the residential assessment portion of this bylaw and the resulting property tax from that assessment base. Next, we'll talk about the non-residential assessment and its property tax that we are required to collect for the budget this year. Next, I want to talk about our ratio of non-res to residential, which is a good check to do according to the Municipal Government Act. Then we'll look at the requisitions that we have to collect for seniors lodging and for the education portion as well. We'll talk about grants in place of taxes as well, bring some information to your attention, and then we'll talk about summary and next steps. So with that, the first slide talks about the fact that back on April the 23rd, Council approved a budget that included a 2.89% municipal tax revenue increase. And that was driven by a 0.5% increase for a reserve policy FB3 and then a 2.39% tax increase to fund new initiatives in the budget for 2024. And what the administration then did is we went back to our drawing boards and we took our assessment base of $885 million, which we received from Compass Assessment, and we looked at the increase that council approved, which is 2.89%. So that brings us to $6,057,113. And what we do from there is we calculate a 2024 mill rate of 6.8437. That'll generate that necessary increase. So this is the base on the residential side that will allow us to publish and issue all of the residential property tax and assessment notices. Moving to the next assessment base on the next slide, our industrial assessment is assessed at $462,894,000. $462,894,000. Last year's municipal property tax levied against that assessment base was $7,098,000, and this year council instructed us to increase that by 2.89%. So again, we work backwards and we calculate the mill rate to generate that increase, and to raise the taxes for this coming year, the mill rate works out to be 15.7792. These are critical numbers that we use to input into our systems to generate the tax notices. So this is what's before you in your bylaw, in a very simple and hopefully easy to understand presentation. One thing that Section 358(2) of the Municipal Government Act requires us to do is to ensure that our non-residential rate is never higher than 5 times the lowest residential mill rate. And in the case of the town of Edson, our ratio is 2.3 times the residential ratio. So we're well within that 5-to-1 ratio as instructed by our legislation that we follow. Next slide, moving on to the requisition. So the first 2 slides covered our municipal portion, where we collect property taxes based on the residential and the non-residential assessment bases. We then receive requisitions, and the first one is from Evergreen Foundation. And this year, their total requisition was $707,000. So we apply that against the assessment base and come up with a mill rate of 0.5296, and that'll generate the revenue for this requisition. And we will transfer those funds to the Seniors Lodge for the year of 2024. So again, this mill rate is a very important number in your bylaw that we will then use to show and charge the tax for this requisition on the property tax notice. The next requisition is for the Alberta School Foundation Fund. And again, similar type of math. We take our residential assessment base, $885 million. We take our non-residential base, and we work backwards to get the mill rate, and we determine that the 2 mill rates to produce the revenue we need to collect this year, which is $3,759,602, with an extra $3,000 to catch up from last year. That will generate the revenue, which again is all contained in your mill rate bylaw in your council package. To note, the Alberta School Foundation Fund requisition did increase by almost $40,000 over last year. This is a non-controllable tax. It is passed on to us by provincial legislation, and we simply collect it and remit it to the province. Next slide I want to mention to council is this particular slide puts pressure on the remaining ratepayers in our community. We assess and charge property tax on provincial grant in lieu properties in our community, and we're only collecting about approximately 50% of that tax revenue. The balance of it we are writing off. In 2023, we wrote off $94,000, which put pressure on the 2023 residential tax base and non-residential tax base. And in 2024, we're estimating that again, we'll have to write off another $95,000 of property taxes that we are not collecting on provincial grant in lieu properties in our community. So that $95,000 is being covered by other properties spread across the residential and non-residential base. So to sum it all up, the bylaw in front of you tonight is summarized as follows. So we talked about the 2 residential and non-residential property classes. You can see that council approved both of those property assessment classes to increase by 2.89%. So the administration has done that and calculated the math. We've added the total of the requisitions for seniors, for ASFF, and the designated industrial property requisition. And the total number in your bylaw is $17,835,416. And that is the total amount of taxes that need to be collected for the 2024 taxation year. And that is what the bylaw, in a very long and complicated way, explains. And I just want to point out one more time that the requisition total here is not controlled by this panel. It is a flow-through tax. And we are simply mandated to put it on the tax notices this year. And with that, I'm happy to turn it back to the chair, and the administration will take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Travish, for your presentation. Council, any questions? Any concerns? Councillor Chachka.
Thanks. Thanks through the chair to Mr. Travish. So I just wanted to confirm, in the past several years, we've had some challenges with, not challenges, sorry, we've extended the tax payment date. So I just want to confirm that this tax payment date is still set to be June 30th, the due date.
I have not had the opportunity, Councillor Chachka, to see what the due date is on our tax notices. We are planning to mail them out on May the 15th, and from that date forward, there's a 67-day appeal period. The tax due date, I will double check and report back to council.
Go ahead, Seal Beverage.
Mr. Mayor, through to Councillor Chachka, we're back to our original due date, which is June 30th. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And the appeal is not for taxes, it's for the assessment, correct, Mr. Travish?
Correct, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Council, any other questions, comments, or concerns? Go ahead, Councillor Chachka. You're ready, still queued up there. Go ahead.
Thanks. One more through the chair to Mr. Travish. Regarding the grants in lieu with the provincial government, so that includes like the hospital, the provincial building, and I'm not sure what other, the schools. Are there any other items in there? I noticed in the assessment in the report, it was like 800,000, I'm not sure what the number was. The residential had, 885 million in assessment, and then we had exempt like 433, which is like half of our entire residential base. Is that all like provincial government kind of stuff, or is that, I know, or other items as well?
Through the chair to Councillor Chachka, that would include federal and provincial properties, that particular number. And there was also one property that came out of inventory in 2023, which was the previous hospital. So that made that total pool of assessment also decrease by a very significant number. You will see that in that chart, same chart that you're looking at. You're welcome.
Council, any other questions, comments, or concerns? Well, seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion that council give second reading to bylaw number 2299? Go ahead, Councillor Chachka.
I so move.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion that bylaw number 2299 be placed for third reading? Councillor Chenard.
I'll place for third reading bylaw 2299.
Thank you. All those in favor? Carried. And can I get a motion that council give third reading to bylaw number 2299? Councillor Taylor.
I so move.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you, Mr. Travish. Can I get a motion that council schedule a committee of the whole meeting on May 28th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the Edson Civic Center? Go ahead, Councillor Taylor.
I so move.
Thank you very much. And I don't know if Ms. Veerboom is going to present on this evening. Ms. Veerboom, are you online?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So through you, Mr. Mayor, to all of council, as work is currently underway on a number of high priority items, administration is seeking council support in adding an additional committee of the whole meeting to the schedule and for it to be scheduled on May 28th at 7 p.m. We feel that doing this would provide ample time for a full review and discussion of these high priority items with the committee.
Thank you, Ms. Veerboom. Council, any questions, comments, or concerns? Councillor Chenard.
Just a comment. I'm pleased that with the backload that we are making use of this committee of the whole meeting with the extra Tuesday.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. And can I get a motion, please, that council direct administration to extend the current contract with Yellowwood County, the town of Edson, and the Edson District Recycling Society until June 30th, 2025. Go ahead, Councillor Bevan.
I'll make that so.
Thank you, Councillor Bevan, and I believe we have Mr. Ryan O'Sullivan, our transportation manager, who will be presenting on this evening. And Councillor Chenard.
I will declare a conflict with my new role. This is very important.
All right. Councillor Chenard declared a conflict of interest and is leaving the room. And, go ahead, Mr. O'Sullivan.
Yeah, so there's no presentation. I'm just here to answer questions and hopefully get the contract to approved for one more year.
All right, thank you. Council, do you have any questions for Mr. O'Sullivan? Go ahead, Councillor Trachka.
Through the chair to Mr. O'Sullivan. Do you know where we are with our current extended producer responsibility program? How we're phasing into that, or how is it going?
Yeah, through the chair to Councillor Chechka. Yeah, they're working through it with the manufacturers. They're plugging away. They're making very good progress, and they're hoping to have some news back for us fairly soon.
Go ahead, Mr. Kitlitz.
I can give a real hot off the press update if I could, Mr. Mayor. So I did receive an email from Ms. Ann Oriat with the Edson District Recycling Society today, and representatives from Circular Materials, who represents the producers who are working with us to negotiate these contracts. Actually, we're on site today visiting the recycling station to get to better understand how the services are provided here in town. So I think the current schedule is we would expect to see a draft contract with the new providers in the fall of this year. So that's what time we'd be bringing something back to council for a look-see is sort of the current schedule. So hope that helps.
All right, council, any further questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? That motion is carried unanimously. Thank you, Mr. O'Sullivan. Can I get a motion, please, that council approve the family and community support? Oh, yes, would you get Councillor Chenard? Thank you, Councillor Chenard. Can I get a motion, please, that council approve the Family and Community Support Services FCSS grants totaling $12,300 as presented? Go ahead, Councillor Taylor.
I happily make this motion.
Thank you, and I believe we have our board chair that's presenting on this evening. Ms. Chomiak, go ahead.
Yes, you do. I don't know if this, is it on? Okay, awesome. Thank you. So, FCSS Advisory Board has a budget of $12,300. We had 6 applications this year, and the request totaling from those was $29,718. So again, we had to have some discussion and make some tough decisions. So this is what was decided upon. Edson United Church for their volunteer coordination, Kate's Kitchen. They requested $2,500, and that's what we recommended. Edson and District Community Learning Society for their collective kitchen requested $2,000, and we recommended $1,000. The Edson Food Bank Society for volunteer coordination requested $5,000, and we recommended $3,600. And just give me a minute. Yellowhead Emergency Shelter for the Women's Society, educate and empower survivors of intimate partner violence. They requested $5,218, and we recommended $5,200 even. Northwest Central Alberta FASD Services Network Society for FASD and Brain Domain Challenges Workshop requested $5,000, and we recommended $0 for that. And Reflections Empowering People to Succeed for mental health awareness, promoting volunteerism and increased program awareness, requested $10,000, and we gave them $0 for that. Are there any questions on that?
Thank you. It's like you've done that before.
Feels like, yeah, very recently.
Council, any questions? Go ahead, Councillor Moore.
Through the chair to Ms. Shelmiak. The Kate's Kitchen, does that include UTK as well out of that amount?
I'm not sure what the UTK is.
Oh, that's the service that delivers every 2 weeks on a Thursday to
I
usually
believe that's
seniors.
all combined. Am I correct in that?
Combined, yeah.
The UTK, that's combined with the Kate's Kitchen? Yes. That's part of the
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, through the chair, thank you, Ms. Chomyak, for updating council on that. And just a brief update to council as well. The discussion that FCSS had was is always a full discussion. Lots of tough choices in there, but it was interesting as the discussion went on that a lot of the same comments came out, and that's why we, I won't say easily came to the decision that we came to, but and just the comment that the 4 groups that are getting funding are all offering different things. And one of the things that we saw was yes, as that was something very different than the last time that we had done these grants to individuals or grants to different groups. So really happy the way the FCSS board has gone so far in the first about year, less than a year of things. So excited for more to come. So those are just my comments there.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? All right. With that, I will call the question. All those in favor? That motion is carried unanimously. Thank you very much, Ms. Chomiak. Can I get a motion that council accept the May 7th, 2024 information item as set out in attachment 1 as information? Go ahead, Councillor Moore.
I so move.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I'll just note that the Community Rail Advocacy Alliance has also sent a letter on behalf of the membership, which includes the town of Edson, to the federal government, urging them to step in if a strike happens with rail service, as the impacts to our particular oil and gas sector will be massive, as well as other industries such as forestry. So I know there has been talk of strike action here very recently, and so the Alliance is certainly advocating to ensure rail service continues and that an appropriate agreement is reached. If there are no questions, I will call the question. All those in favor? That motion is carried. We have no sundry items. Council committee reports. We will go to April the 17th, and we will start today with Councillor Chachka.
Okay. So on April 18th, I had a Community Futures West Yellowhead meeting that I attended. On the 19th, I had another Community Futures West Yellowhead meeting, which was a committee meeting for the business walks that are coming up. I hope to see many other councillors there. April 19th, I attended the Volunteer Appreciation Awards Night. April 23rd, I attended the operating budget meeting. April 30th, I attended the Committee of the Whole meeting. And May 3rd, I attended our strategic planning session.
Thank you, Councillor Chachka, and we will go to Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, through the mayor, on April 17th, I attended a library board meeting, and just a quick update on fundraising. The total amount they fundraised for their furniture for the new facility has been $105,000, which is just a staggering number when you say it out loud. And there's a few others that are still coming in. And a quick plug, their online auction closes in just a couple of days, so expect some more funding for there. And we're also excited that the mayor has agreed to have the mayor's golf tournament in the summer, and the proceeds from that will go to the library as well. So get your clubs out on August 23rd. On the 22nd, I had our FCSS meeting, and I was going to report on that, but then Ms. Chomniak did such a wonderful job, so I don't have to do that. And we also had a presentation from on the Elder Abuse Support Program, and I know there were questions on that within our budget, but we see that it's a very valuable thing for our community and a needed thing in our community. On the 23rd, we attended the budget meeting. The 30th, Committee of the Whole. On the May 3rd, Council Strategic Plan. And yesterday I was at our youth council meeting where they were going over sort of a youth code of conduct for our facilities, and we'll be wrapping that up and hopefully making some recommendations, youth recommendations to our staff. And look out at the end of June as our youth council will be presenting to council. So that is my report.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Bevan.
16th council meeting, the 18th was the Community Futures meeting. The 23rd, we had a Zoom meeting for Community Futures, but only 3 of us showed up, so we have to put everything forward to this coming up meeting at Community Futures here, which is up in Grand Cache this time. And on the 23rd, the budget meeting, and on the 30th, the Committee of the Whole meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Bevan. And we will go to Councillor Pisichny.
On 19th, volunteer appreciation dinner, 23rd, budget meeting, the Committee of the Whole on the 30th, and strategic planning on the 3rd. That's my report.
All right. Thank you, Councillor Pisichny. Councillor Moore.
On April 18th, West Yellowhead Waste Management meeting, virtual meeting. Budget meeting on April 23rd. April 25th, Edson and District Historical Society spring meeting. And committee meeting on April 30th. And strategic planning session May 2nd to 3rd. And that's my report.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. And Councillor Chouinard.
I'll try not to get in trouble. April 19th, volunteer appreciation, 23rd budget, 30 committee of the whole. I will report May 1st Warehouser because I'm on the PAC committee, so that would be part of my thing. And strategic planning, 2nd and 3rd. And I don't think I forgot anything, so that's it for my report.
That would have been West Fraser, not Warehouser.
It's actually all 3.
Was it all 3? Oh, okay. Okay. See, there we go. Perfect. For myself, on April the 18th, we had our waste management meeting where we approved the audited financial statements. Things are looking good at the authority, and construction of the cell there continues. Some unfortunate news, though, the manager of the authority is leaving, so the county is currently trying to fill that position. He's done a wonderful job for us, and sad to see him go. On the 19th, along with members of council, attended the volunteer appreciation night and members of admin. It was great to see the turnout and recognizing our volunteers. Budget meeting, April 23rd, Committee of the Whole on April 30th, and strat planning on May the 3rd. With that, we have no financial items. Questions for media and public regarding items from this council meeting? Oh, all right. Thank you very much. No questions regarding items from this council meeting? Seeing none, we will move that the meeting move into a closed session pursuant to Section 24 of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And that motion is going to be made by Councillor Moore.
I so move.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. All those in favor? Motion carried. Motion for adjournment, please. Go ahead, Councillor Chouinard.
I'll make the motion for adjournment.
Thank you. All those in favor? Motion carried.